Hello everyone, my name is Khalife. This is my photo. I'm a PhD student at University of Alberta. Today we will be discussing about measuring project value, a review of current practices, and relation to project success. This is part of an ongoing research that is conducted at the University of Alberta with the supervision of Dr. Hamzeh. The outline is as follows: introduction, objectives, methodology, and then a background on measuring value, why measure project value, how project value is measured, and when can project value be measured. Then we go into an overview of the measurements discussed within the construction literature, and then some proposed measurements from other domains, and finally some directions for evaluation and measurement of project value. Now, the value concept has been debatable in the construction industry since its early conception. Different interpretations of project value and what constitutes it are found. Mainly, project value was associated with clients' or owners' needs and objectives. However, project value has a broader meaning, which encompasses the various needs, requirements, and visions of the different internal and external stakeholders involved on a project. Tyson et al. Assured that value is not something that can be made explicit once and for all, thus focusing on the dynamic property of value. Now, previous studies discussed topics related to what constitute value and focused on value creation and value capturing early on projects, but failed to explain the fact that during the project delivery there is often value loss due to improper tracking or measuring of the development of value. Therefore, there's a lack of a clear approach to quantify value over the project different phases and have a comprehensive method for tracking of project value as the project progresses. Therefore, the objectives of these studies are exploring the literature on value creation, quantification, and measurement, then extracting methods and strategies for measuring and monitoring value from the construction industry and other domains, and finally suggesting future directions and strategies for effective measurements of value on projects within the project phases. Now, the methodology adopted in this paper commenced with a literature review. While there are plethora of methodological approaches falling under the review of literature, in the study, a similar approach to the scoping review was utilized. Usually, a scoping study aims at mapping key concepts for a research area that has not been reviewed comprehensively before. Thus, a set of criteria for selecting the papers relevant to this research work specified. Then these selected methods were critically reviewed, and finally abductive reasoning was used to develop a model that describes the crucial dimensions and indicators for measuring value. Now, to start with the background on measuring value, we need first to ask why measure project value. So, to work effectively, people need to see the value in what they do. Therefore, the relevance of discussing project value is related to project success. There is a new shift in understanding project performance that extends beyond the iron triangle of cost, time, quality performances. That is to embed the value performance in the new production era of lean thinking. In lean philosophy, adding value is an important foundation of project success. Projects are far more sophisticated than a single customer product that is considered successful if the user is satisfied with it. Construction projects are dynamic systems involving a large number of interested stakeholders, and their needs, expectations should be considered. Thus, these should be translated into measurable outcomes. Now, how project value is measured. The traditional description of value is the ratio of quality over cost, or benefits over sacrifices. In this research, we specify project value as the negotiated and collective guiding principles that are expressed by different stakeholders and from which the assessment of the project success is considered. Understanding the concept of perceived project value helps in deciding on the methods to measure it. Therefore, there's a need to mutually agree on value parameters to be able to really measure these. Now, when can project value be measured? Project value is usually associated with the project lifecycle from early inception phases to the completion of the project and its operation. However, in each of these phases, project participants change. And the interested stakeholders would also change, thus affecting project value. According to research, value is said to be envisioned during the design phase, it's said to be harnessed during the construction phase, and finally it's experienced value during the use or operation phase. Consequently, it's important to observe value along all project phases. Now, several major studies were found to be of relevance to the topic of measuring value. The key concepts will be discussed and then critical assessment is provided. The first study by Cliniotto, the proposed approach included a scoring system from 1 to 5 for prioritizing the list of value drivers. So project value is the summation of all these value drivers. Each value driver is given a percentage importance from a total of 100. Now the value score or the value index is then evaluated based on the assigned weights. However, the study did not provide any input on how to evaluate the best possible outcome, and it's not clear whether the percentage importance is agreed on collectively between the different stakeholders. In the second study, Lin and Chen realized the importance of value management in the construction industry, and they looked into first the available measurements for assessing VM performance and then identified critical success factors and key performance indicators. However, the study was too general and focused only on the VM approach. In the third study by Zhang et al., they discussed an integrated set of techniques to support value creation for engineering product design development. The approach utilized the mean-end analysis, part-whole analysis, multi-attribute utility theory. While the study gave attention to intangible value and trade-offs, it's not clear and hard. It wasn't so clear, and it was hard to transform subjective customer statements into measurable value. In the fourth, by Fisher et al., the study talked about measurable value in the framework of integrated project delivery. The study criticized the early, limited, and vague value definition, which is not realized in later phases. Instead, the study suggested clearly defining and, more importantly, tracking project value. However, the study only provided a simple example on that approach without digging into details. Then Zhang el-Ghori in 2017 presented an approach that studied how the project properties can realize stakeholders' personal value system, and it was an automated value analysis process that used the BIM, the Building Information Modeling. However, the approach should be expanded to be comprehensive, specifically in relation to design decisions as suggested by the authors in that. In the last two studies, Suruga talked about the quality function, deployment, and utility theory. This approach investigated forecasting requirements and accounting for uncertainty. However, it is not accounted for the implementation phase of projects and during handing over. And finally, Gimenez presented a value analysis model for measuring value during the design phase based on the Kano model. The study offered a new perspective on value losses on projects, which was a good thing. However, it wasn't clear how the model addressed the change in the potential value and the desired value. So looking into other domains such as business management, aerospace industry, IT sector, we could find new ideas to implement within the construction industry about how to measure value. We're not going through these, but based on these, new directions for evaluating and measuring project value was suggested. This model that is shown in the figure, we have 3 dimensions are believed to direct value measurement. Number 1 is monitoring value throughout the project phases. Real-time update is needed. And a set of suggested measures under the title of leading and lagging indicators is proposed. So the value leading indicators include the number of involved stakeholders, the level of interaction. These are only guiding indicators that are expected to give sense on whether participants are on the right track of enhancing project value. And then we have to measure the value lagging indicators, for example, fast client approval cycles, reduced conflicts during constructions, and so on. And also we have the type of project value need to specify tangible, intangible value dimensions. Now, finally, a set of recommended steps are suggested for measuring project value based on literature. So we need first to identify value flows through a network for structuring the needs and requirements, then prioritize constituents of project value, then identify the value drivers, and their weights, specify customized metrics for tracking the assigned value drivers, and finally establish a data acquisition system to include these value leading and value lagging indicators. And these are the references, and thank you very much.